They've not eaten it.
It's breakfast time at the tanks. The fish swim in circles, mouths open, each one trying to grab as much feed as possible. It's a competitive scene, and the strongest will always want to flex their muscles. But that's just nature, right? I'm standing just inches away from one of the 4 large tanks, each stocked with catfish and tilapia. So how many do you have here in this tank?
We are about 1,003.
1,003 here.
Yeah.
Samuel Hene, the technician in charge, oversees the daily care of these fish. Moments ago, he completed a full water change. Now the fish swim in fresh, clean water. As he scatters the feed across the surface of the water, Samuel is not only dishing out nutritious breakfast to the fish, he's also calculating and making future market plans. Also helping to serve some high-quality nutritious feed to the fish is Dr. Asowe Atimpeh. Dr. Asowe is the current head of Department for the Fisheries and Water Resources at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. I'm Robert Asowe Atimpeh, a broadcast journalist with Greener FM. Today, I'm at the university's demonstration fish farm to observe the technology powering the training of students in aquaculture. These tanks you see here contains thousands of catfish and tilapia. Here, they are fed well and their water is constantly changed, creating a healthy environment for them to grow. This technology is fast becoming a sustainable way to produce seafood and is gaining popularity worldwide in the last few decades. Fish remains a huge source of protein, rich in essential nutrients for a healthy body. The fisheries sector over the years has provided food, livelihoods, and jobs for millions of people. But in recent years, the ocean, lakes, rivers, and ponds that were once home to several species of fish are under serious threat. Overfishing, illegal fishing practices, pollution of water bodies as a result of illegal mining, also known as Galamsey, and climate change are fast depleting Ghana's fish stock. Dr. Samuel Amponsan has spent several years studying these changes, particularly around Lake Volta. He has witnessed firsthand how quickly fish species are disappearing each passing minute.
So ecologically, the Lake Volta is currently dead, and then this is due to some evidences, including low catches, small-sized fishes being landed by fishermen, and also poor recruitment of juveniles into the stock. Now, with already these things happening in the lake, the inception of Galamsey also heightens the rate at which the stocks are going to decline, further facilitating the rate of death of the lake. Again, with the Galamsey issues on the rise, especially within our water bodies, it also has implication on the health of consumers, especially from consuming fishes that bioaccumulate heavy metals in their system. Of course, somebody would say that no, Galamsey doesn't affect. It affects you because the fish that you eat, health-wise, you would have some traces of heavy metals in your system. Some of them are carcinogenic, and over time, it will reach the threshold and even surpass the threshold given by FAO and the WHO. And then once that happens, your health will be at risk, and then possibly you may end up dying from it. So of course, even though the lake is dying or is dead, Galamsey also put it at a further risk, not only ecological reasons, but also the health of consumers. And so there is a need to also implement measures in banning or curtailing Galamsey activities within our already dying Lake Volta.
Whilst Ghana experiences a huge glut in commodities like rice, eggs, and maize in recent months, there's a big deficit in fish supply.
For abundance of fish in various fishing communities, currently it is actually the thing of the past. As it stands now, most of the important fishes have declined in numbers. If you go to fishing communities, especially along the Lake Volta, prominent places like the Yeji, Gemini, Pando, and the rest, you realize that there is limited number of catch. And then this is actually evinced by most of their catches being largely immature species and also undersized individuals. Also, the number of ponds that fishermen land upon several high impacts of climate change and other bad ways of fishing has also contributed to this. So yes, there is a need for us to implement proper management measures to bring back the stock and to increase the abundance that fishermen need, not only for livelihood, but also to ensure food security.
Every year, Ghana imports about 600,000 tons of fish. Players in the industry say this figure is equal to about $150 million spent on fish imports yearly. This huge amount the country spends on the importation of fish and fish products is eye-popping. With an average consumption of 21 to 27 kilograms per person, Ghana sits right on top as one of the largest fish consumers in Africa. Dr. Mponsan believes that if current policy plans are fully implemented, the fisheries sector could regain its strength.
Currently, there are some solutions in motion, and I'll take it one after the other. First of all, from the angle of the lake dying ecologically. First of all, there is the development and possible implementation of an inland management plan. So the plan is set to outline the various activities to be carried out by the Fisheries Commission in protecting the ecosystem of the Lake Volta. Again, establishing protected areas at certain ecological hotspots along the lake can also help in protecting already declining fish species, for example, the characteristics. And then the other one is ensuring that people use the appropriate fishing gears. Currently, if you go to certain places like the Yeji and then the Gemini, there is the dominant use of bamboo. And then bamboo is very selective. And so over time, we realize that the big sizes will be no more because the bamboo gear catches the big size and leaves the small ones. And so over time, there will be the small ones already in the water body, which also not be good for the sustenance. And so ensuring the use of proper fishing methods and gears is another method of salvaging the already dying lake. The other one is also ensuring proper governance and enforcement of already existing regulations, including the use of the ban on the use of undersized mesh nets. When all these activities are holistically implemented, ecological salvaging of the water lake will become something that will be in reality and not abstract. Now, going to the Galamsey issue, there is a need to ensure maximum enforcement. There is a need to ensure that people engaged in Galamsey are not just brought to book, but they are also punished accordingly. It shouldn't be a fine or a penalty that they can pay. It should be more than that. And that will deter others from also engaging in such acts. Again, there is a need to also provide alternative livelihood, because most of these people engaged in Galamsey don't have any other means of livelihood aside the Galamsey activities. So government should find a way and also ensure that there are alternative livelihood that can draw these people away from the Galamsey activities into certain aspects, probably having livelihoods such as the carpentry aspect, training them into carpentry, training them in masonry, training them in farming aspects, farming of rabbits and other livestock, which will also bring money. And then the other one that can also be done is to engage in community awareness. Community awareness program is very vital if we want to fight against Galamsey. It shouldn't only be done in the community, but also in the classrooms. In fact, it should be inculcated into their curriculum activity, where children will understand the need to protect the water bodies. Children will understand that Galamsey is bad. And once children are able to imbibe the idea that Galamsey is bad, they will even themselves be the agents of change in the community. Children themselves will even prevent their parents, their uncles or their aunties from engaging in Galamsey activities. Of course, so when all these measures are put in place, Galamsey will be on a decline, and then the ecological health of our lake water will also bounce back.
It does look like multiple solutions are required to put the sector back on its feet. So what immediate actions can help reduce Ghana's heavy dependency on imported fish? With Galamsey also threatening the fisheries sector and damaging aquatic ecosystems, it appears something must be done, and it has to be done as soon as possible.
You are right. It's a big challenge in Ghana now. And then looking at the rate at which Ghana import fish due to the decline of fish stocks, I think that it is very, very important, okay, to go into aquaculture. Yes, for now, I would say aquaculture is the safest way of providing people with fish protein, okay, because looking at aquaculture, the source of water that we mostly use, underground water, okay, although our surface water is polluted, but when it comes to the underground water, it's a bit safer. But even with that, we have to be careful, because with time, if we have started detecting mercury, arsenic, and then cadmium in yam and then other crops, then they should tell you that with time our underground water will not be safe. Okay, so for now, looking at the pollution level, I would say that aquaculture is the best, because the underground water is not polluted. And then when we use that in raising fish, and then you consume it, you are free from getting arsenic or cadmium into your system, so that you don't attract any cancer in the future.
This sounds interesting, but is it easy to engage in?
Oh yes. As for aquaculture, what you need is the knowledge on the farm practices. Yes, when I say farm practices, then I'm referring to how you feed the fish, how you monitor your water quality, and then how often you change your water. Yes, so if you have this knowledge, I think that, and then you have the capital, I think that you are good to go, because it's not all that capital intensive. So if you want to raise maybe few, okay, for the family, or maybe to make few money out of it, it's not all that capital intensive, because all what you need is to get a holding facility, and then the holding facility with tarpaulin tanks, okay, concrete tanks, or maybe if you have a land which is waterlogged area, you can dig an earthen pond, and then you can go into it. Okay, the feed, currently one bag of feed is I think it is 20 kg, which is costing 250 Ghana cedis. Okay, so if you have few fishes in there, I think one bag they can consume it within a month. Okay, and then you can culture them up to 6 to 8 months. They are ready for harvest. Okay, so this is not capital intensive, and then it is the safest way due to the Galamsey issue. Now our surface waters, they are all polluted. Okay, yes, so it is causing problem for the fish. They bioaccumulate these compounds, and then when you consume as human, it affects you in the future. So with fish coming from aquaculture is the safest point, and I think that in aquaculture, the most source of water is underground water, what we call the borehole. Yes, so with that one, it's free from these chemicals, and then when we do that, we are also protecting consumers.
Back in the demonstration farm at UNE, Samuel Hine talks about the importance of engaging in aquaculture as a business and for the home.
So if you are out there and then you want to go into fish farming or aquaculture, okay, it's very simple. You can start small, okay. You don't need much. All you need is a good water source, okay, where you can get water from, and then you get your fingerlings and then your feed. You can build a very small tank.
Something like that.
Yes, as located there, you can build something small and maybe start with, let's say, about 100 pieces of fish, okay. Then you start. By doing it gradually, you see that you get money to expand the business. Yes. So the key thing is to get a good source of water, and then to get market. Okay, market. So because if you are doing it on business basis, then it means that you have to know your target, the people that you'll be selling to. Okay, once you have these things, you are ready to go. Okay, within 6 to 8 months, you are ready to harvest, and then you get your money. Yes. So,
but for household consumption, would you also encourage them to,
Yes, yes. Now, previously, fish was a very cheap commodity in the market, but now the story has changed. Now fish is very, very expensive, as even compared to meat. Okay, and fish protein is very, very good as compared to meat protein. You get it? Yes, because even doctors mostly advise us to take more fish, because when you take the body of a fish, 70 to 75% of its body tissue is made up of water. You get it? Yes. So that is why health professionals always advise us to take more fish instead of taking red meat. You get it? So as a small family, if you want to do it for the family, to ensure good source of protein and all that, then it's also advisable. You can get a small tarpaulin tank. The tarpaulin tank, they come in sizes. Okay, so the bigger the size, then the cost will increase. Okay, so if you want a small one, like maybe half of this, they can do it. Okay, they can fabricate it for you, and then you can put it at your backyard, and then you can do it purposely for the family, and the family can depend on it, and it will save you a lot, because if you are doing it for the family, not on business purposes, then it means that you are not going to buy so much feed. Okay, and then it means that when they mature, the money that you use in buying meat and fish from outside, that will be expensive. You can depend on it, and then the family will get a very good source of protein.
And even with that, you can even eat with confidence.
Yes. Yes, you can eat with confidence, because you know the source. You know you are producing it yourself. Okay, and then you know the type of input that you are putting in. So you are just secured, and then security aspects, you are secured, and then you don't fear anything that there will be any contaminant or there will be any pollution out there. So you are just secured. As for aquaculture, if you produce your fish and then you change your water regularly, so let's say every week you change your water, or every 4 days, 5 days you change your water, you are good to go. You end up getting a healthy fish to consume. So that one, the risk is very, very minimal as compared to the ones in the wild, because of Galamsey issues and all that.
The University of Energy and Natural Resources fully understands the importance of fish in our everyday nutrition. It is for this reason the Department of Fisheries and Water Resources was created. Dr. Seriam took us through how the department trained its students.
Our department is Fisheries and Water Resources. But when you break it down, we are into the fisheries sector, the aquaculture sector, and we relate this to water that our aquatic resources inhabit. So what we do is that we teach, we lecture, and we go practical. You see, we diversify into the aquaculture, that is domestication of aquatic resources. Then the inland fisheries, the capture fisheries. Then we also go into the coastal environment by taking our students far into the coastal part of Ghana for internship and for field, experiences at various seasons during the year, so that they can be exposed not just to the theoretical aspect of the work, but to the practical aspects, of fisheries as a whole. Also, we engage Fisheries Commission because we don't isolate ourselves. We engage Fisheries Commission as individuals and as a department, you see, to make sure that we are abreast with the policies coming forth from MOFAD, you see. Then we also, join forces with them to organize programs. For instance, late part of last month into the early part of this month, 29th to the 1st of November, we joined MOFAD and FC and the Chamber of Aquaculture, in celebrating aquaculture, in organizing aquaculture conference. And during this conference, stakeholders came from industry, from the academia, from institutions, research institutions, both within Ghana and outside Ghana. So that is what we stand for. We don't stand alone. We work with NGOs, we work with the commission, we work with the ministry, we work with stakeholders, we work with, grassroots farmers and fishers, and we also work with our students.
Right from 2013, when the department was established, huge progress has been made. A recent support from government means the impact of the department will be felt beyond the classroom.
Government has done a lot. We are grateful to the government of Ghana, especially this current dispensation. Recently, early part of this year, government donated 4 tarpaulin tanks to the Department of Fisheries and Water Resources at our aquaculture demonstration center. And this facility has helped us to raise over 5,000 fishes. We have the tilapia, we have the catfish. Government also went further to donate over 200 bags of quality feeds to feed these fishes throughout the year, the cycle of their production. And as I talk presently, when we went for the aquaculture conference in Accra, we were privileged to engage the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, yes, in person of Honorable Madam Emilia Etha. So we were privileged to engage her, and the government presently has our departments at hand to build capacity in the region and also in the municipal that we are situated. So it's in the pipeline. It's not everything we bring to the public domain until we see them being implemented. But I assure you, with this much they've done, they will do more, much more, as time goes on.
As Ghana joins the rest of the globe to celebrate the 2025 edition of World Fisheries Day, the Department of Fisheries and Water Resources at UNED says it presents them a great opportunity to raise more awareness about the need to protect fish.
Reason being that we so much believe in entrepreneurial skills, we believe in food security, livelihood, and environmental sustainability. Here we grow healthy fishes here. We do a lot of water quality assessment. We have able hands taking care of the cultured fishes here. And as it is now, we are celebrating World Fisheries Day. And the purpose is not just to celebrate the day, but to enlighten the public on what Ghana, BUNO, and the Department of Fisheries and Water Resources, what we stand for. We have the fisheries arm, we have the aquaculture arm, and the water arm in the Department of Fisheries and Water Resources. We go into inland capture fisheries, we go into the aquaculture aspect, and also we do not forget dealing with our water, which inhabits our aquatic resources. Aquaculture and fisheries add to the GDP of the nation. Also, when it comes to food security, we all know that without food we can't survive. We add to the quality protein requirements and supply in the nation. Mothers, children, men of all ages, we all need the protein, to survive in our meals. So when we consciously, engage in both the capture fisheries and the culture fisheries, what we do is that we add to the protein base, of the food we put on our different tables in our different homes. And worthy of note is that in our sector here, we are so particular about the quality and not just the quantity of fish produced, because we all know the menace in the society. We can see that there is what we call Galamsey here in Ghana. Simply put, illegal mining, which is affecting our water bodies. And in the process, what happens is that we have accumulation of heavy metals and other toxic substances, in our water bodies, and also in our aquatic resources coming out of our water bodies. And in the process, people go in there and they fetch these things, they harvest these resources, and we consume. So invariably, the water is polluted and affected. The people who come in contact with the water, the fishermen along the value chain, even the marketers, even the fish processors, they are affected. Then ultimately, the consumers are also affected. The fishes are also contaminated, and they become toxic for consumption. So to mitigate all this, the Department of Fisheries and Water Resources in the University of Energy and Natural Resources, we are calling on the public, to join forces with us in engaging in both the culture and capture fisheries and doing it in a responsible way. You see, we have what we call responsible aquaculture and responsible fishing. So we don't just go to our water bodies and throw things there, throw our garbages there, be engaged in all sorts of anthropogenic activities and pollute our waters and our resources in the water. At the end of the day, we are the ones, who get infected and affected. So we are pleading with the public that as we celebrate this day, the World Fisheries Day, it is a day for us to remember the labor, of our heroes, those past and those present, to encourage them, to empower them both financially and with the skills they need to carry out, responsible fishing and also responsible catching of fish, that is aquaculture.
The goal is sustainability. It requires all hands on deck: government, academia, industry players, consumers, and everyone within the value chain working together to revive the struggling fisheries sector in Ghana. For Greener FM, Robert Asowe Atimpeh reporting.